Marvel was my least favorite rotational dining experience on the Disney Wish. And here's why. Hey guys, it's Nikki and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for watching today's video of my personal review of World of Marvel on the Disney Wish. I have experienced it twice now, so I feel as I have a strong opinion about World of Marvel, and we're going to chat about that today. We're going to go through the experience as a whole, the restaurant, layout, and most importantly the menu. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you never miss a magical moment here at home or at the theme parks or at sea. Give this video a big thumbs up and let's get started. What is World of Marvel? World of Marvel is one of the 3 options for your rotational dining on the Disney Wish. And I don't say Disney Cruise Line, Disney Wish, because all of the ships have different rotational dining restaurants. Some of them are similar, but majority of them have different restaurants. Now, you might have a different experience depending on which ship you go on. But on the Disney Wish, you have 1923, Arendelle, and World of Marvel. And I'm doing a review on all 3 of these restaurants, so all of my Disney Cruise Line videos will be linked in the description down below in that playlist right underneath that like button. So make sure you go ahead and check those out after this video. So for World of Marvel, like I mentioned, is one of the 3 rotational restaurants that you have the opportunity to dine at when you are cruising on the Disney Wish. World of Marvel, the theme, Marvel. So Marvel is a huge universe of superheroes, but a couple of the main components of the theming are Ant-Man, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Avengers Age of Ultron, Captain Marvel, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and Mrs. Marvel. So if you want to know what's going on, just make sure you do a little recap of those movies or watch them. Maybe you have some kiddos that are really into Marvel. Just go ahead and rewatch those beforehand. However, I have not seen Ant-Man. I don't think I've seen any of those Marvel movies that I just listed out. And I still liked the experience. It definitely was not my favorite. All 3 of the rotational dining options, it's my 3rd on my list. But even if I saw those movies and knew what was going on, I still think it would be number 3. So let's first talk about just how the restaurant is set up and the overall vibe of World of Marvel. So World of Marvel is located on deck 4 on the Disney Wish, and it is pretty cool, just like the overall designing of the restaurant. I really like the Marvel sign in front as you walk in, and the colors are really nice. But other than that, it's just kind of a restaurant. There's not as much detail as there is in Arendelle or 1923 as the other 2 options on the Disney Wish. And so it's more of a tamed down version, I would say, of everything else that you get to experience on the ship. The really cool things about the World of Marvel, and we'll get into this more when we talk about the overall experience of the show, is the quantum core is at your table, and you can actually purchase one, and it's like a little sipper. So that is really cool. It's just a nice little extra thing that you can take home with you. The overall vibe of the restaurant is just fine to me. The big major flaw that I see is there's so many massive poles everywhere, and I understand you have to have structure, but just how the tables are set up, and they were really trying to squeeze every last table they could in there, and it's just not a great experience depending on where you are sitting, because all of the whole show is on screens. There's kind of people walking around at the end, but the majority of the show is on a screen, and if you don't have a good view of that screen, it's not going to be a great experience. So from that, let's jump into the overall show experience. So once you sit down at your table, you got your menu, you're just going to be hanging out for a little bit, and then Ant-Man is going to pop up on the screen with a lady. I'm not sure what her name is. Again, I'm not a huge Marvel girly, so sorry. But they're going to come on and they're going to talk about the quantum core, different things like that. There's a lot of notes to the movie, and Thanos, just certain aspects of the show obviously are going to be tied back to the movie. So they talk about the quantum core, and I'm not going to give away the gist and the whole like theming of the show. I do have some of those. I do have those clips in my vlog if you're interested in seeing it wholly, but I do have a couple of the I do have the clips of the show in my vlog, so go ahead and check those out if you want to be spoiled. But overall, it's just Ant-Man and the lady, maybe she's Mrs. Marvel, I don't know, but they have the quantum core, and that's like the focus point of the show. And then they'll talk for a little bit and then they just stop, and then they talk a little bit and then they stop, and then they talk, and then there's like a bigger commotion, and then they stop, and then they'll come back at the end. So it's just very choppy to me. For Arendelle, if we're gonna compare it to Arendelle, which that is the only other dining show, the Arendelle show was so smooth and the transitions made sense and it just was so enjoyable. And World of Marvel's show was like show and show and show and show, and there was nothing in between, and they would just like randomly pop up on the screen. I'm sure there's like a certain reason and like time of why they come up, but it just was very choppy to me. Didn't really make sense, and honestly wasn't that enjoyable because you didn't know when they were gonna pop back up or like what they were even talking about half of the time. It's easy to like lose focus, and if you're not paying attention to what they're talking about, then the next time they come up, you're gonna have no idea what happened. So the overall show experience, well, it was nice. It was nicely done, but it just like wasn't for me. Too choppy, didn't really have a nice flow to it. It ruined the dining experience, but because it just like randomly would pop up and there was no like one warning or flow, it kind of could like interrupt the conversations at your table. So it just wasn't for me, wasn't great. So the 2 cruises we went on this year was one with my husband Jackson, and then I went on one with my mom. And both, so our first, obviously we wanted to experience all of the restaurants and everything that the cruise had to offer. And then the second time I wanted my mom to be able to experience everything and what the cruise had to offer. Now from my perspective of, okay, I've been to it twice, would I go to World of Marvel again? Probably would really just depend on the day and what we're doing. They do have other food options around the ship if you don't want to go to rotational dining. And so that might be one of the options that we do next time. However, the menu is pretty good and has one of my favorite items on it. So that would be the only reason that would get me to go back to World of Marvel. Before we move on to the menu, I do want to mention one quick thing about the screens. So our first experience, we were really far on the side, and then we were right here. The wall is here. Let's do this. Wall was here. Our table was right here, and then there was a massive pole. So it was Jackson and I, and then the other 2 people that were sitting with us, and then the other 2 people that were sitting with us. So on this wall we had a screen, and then on the walls over here we also had screens too. But since there was a pole there, I would either have to look up at the wall that was right next to us, which was hard to see, or I would have to like shimmy my body around to be able to see the other screen. So while people will say there's always like a good seat in every single restaurant, there's a good seat, but there's not great seats. And we just didn't have great seats. We did have great seats my second time I went with my mom, and we were just at like a regular table, perfect screen. We were on like a super long table and we were right in the middle, but again, it just like wasn't my favorite, and that's okay. Okay, jumping really in here quickly to say, because I forgot to mention this, I also don't think I enjoyed it because it was on deck 4 and the ship was rocking so hard. So my first cruise, we were World of Marvel the first night, and then my second cruise, it was the second night I believe, and the boat was just rocking so much and it was like kind of uncomfortable. So because it was like such a lower deck, it also made the experience a little bit wonky and just not enjoyable. So forgot to add that in, just wanted to add it back in. All right, let's send it back to Nikki. Now let's talk about the menu. So you're gonna have your appetizer options, salad, something from the kettle, bread service, entrees, and then your desserts. And they also have tons of specialty drinks and different things like that for Marvel as well. For our appetizers, you could get smoked salmon, steamed bao buns, hearts of palm ceviche, crispy breaded fried shrimp. So those 4 options are what you can get for your appetizers. And then something that's like a little bit more unique is each item is like tied to a Marvel thing. So steamed bao buns is from like Web. That is what we got on our cruise. They were pretty good. They weren't like the best of the best. When I think of like a steamed bao bun, I always think of the cheeseburger pods in Pandora and Animal Kingdom. And I know that's like not even the same, I don't think. It kind of looks the same. But those are so stinking good and I love those so much. The bao buns are fine. I probably should try something new the next time we go, but we'll see. From the kettle, you have your option of like a creamed potato soup and then a mushroom soup. So those are your two kettle options. I believe we got the potato one and I'm pretty sure I liked it. But obviously I don't remember, so it was not very memorable. The thing that was memorable was the bread service, and I would say the bread service across the restaurants were really good. I am a carb girl, so like I love a good piece of bread. But what I loved about the World of Marvel was the red bell pepper dipping sauce. At first I was kind of like taken back. I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna like that. But once I tried it, it was divine. It was so good, and I could have just like ate it with like a chicken finger. It was delicious. Then we have our entrees, and this is where my favorite item is, like as an entree. And you can get a pork chop, scallops, a filet, a ribeye steak, or a chicken salad. So the pan-seared scallops are my favorite because it comes with an allergy-friendly pasta, a fancy sauce, caramelized tomatoes, and spinach. Holy moly, this is like one of my top 3 items from the rotational dining experiences on the Disney Wish. It is delicious. It's like more of an angel hair pasta, so it is very light, and then you have the sauce and the scallops and the caramelized tomatoes. It is delicious. And then finally we have our dessert. So you have like a sticky date pudding, a quantum key lime pie, a layered like chocolate cake, flourless beetroot cake. That's like the no sugar added one. No thank you. Signature desserts are the cheesecake bites and the prim donut sundae. Donut sundae is great. The key lime pie is great. Chocolate cake is great. Desserts here are top tier. The desserts at every restaurant are good, but these ones I feel like are really good. I wouldn't say great, just like from good to really good to great. I would say these are like really good. And they have a lot of different options. So if you don't like chocolate, you could get the key lime pie. If you don't like key lime pie, you could get the ice cream. So there's just a lot of variety when it comes to desserts at World of Marvel. So overall, we do enjoy going to the World of Marvel. It's just not my favorite out of the 3. Maybe if I was like a huge Marvel fan, I would enjoy it more. Let me know in the comments down below if you've been to World of Marvel and if you're like a huge Marvel buff and it was like the coolest thing ever for you. But I just, again, didn't enjoy it because it was very choppy. It wasn't like a flow of the whole experience. And the menu was good. It's just not great. I loved the entree and that was great. For in order for a restaurant to be like amazing, every option needs to be amazing, and that just like wasn't the case at World of Marvel. This is going to be your first cruise on the Disney Wish. I would really encourage you to do all 3 rotational dinings. If you have a longer cruise, so maybe you have the Monday to Friday sailing and you have 2 nights at World of Marvel, then maybe skip 1 or give it a try that first night and you might love it. Again, these are my opinions, my feelings about the experience. That doesn't mean that you're going to feel that same way, and that's totally fine. So give it a try if it is your first time. If you've been to World of Marvel, let me know how you feel about it. Definitely, like I said, it would be ranked 3 out of 3 when you're comparing it to Arendelle and 1923, the other 2 options on the Disney Wish. Not terrible, but it just wasn't a great experience. Next time we're on the Disney Wish, will we go back to World of Marvel? Honestly, again, probably not. That might be one of the dining experiences that we skip. If you do skip one of your dining rotations, you do have options to eat dinner on the ship. There are different bars around the ship that you can grab bites at. There's the buffet. There's the Mickey and Friends Festival of Foods options that is on deck 11 where the main pool is at. So there are other options for you besides the main rotation dining. Maybe just a season of life that you're in it's not going to be enjoyable for you to take your kids to go sit at a restaurant. Maybe that's the reason you want to skip, and just know that there are other options that you can go to besides those main dining restaurants. Alright you guys, that's gonna be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching my review on World of Marvel on the Disney Wish. I really hope this video is really informative for you and it's going to help you the next time that you stay on the Disney Wish. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, give this video a big thumbs up, and I will see you real soon. Bye.